You are now listening to Akashic Knowledge for Spiritual Growth and Transformation. Your host along this journey, Pleiades.
Peace and love, family. I am Pleiades from Akashic Knowledge. This is the podcast number... I don't want to mess it up. It's 6. Podcast number 6. And I'm here joined with my brother, my soul brother, doing amazing stuff in this conscious community, CrewZ. And we're just going to be talking about essentially inspiration. Basically, some things that keep us inspired, some people, some forms of art and stuff like that. Literally everything that keep us inspired, and absolutely why inspiration is even relevant to the spiritual path. So I'm going to just let you introduce yourself, brother. Go ahead.
Well, as you said, bro, a lot of you guys know that I'm CrewZ, CrewZ, or at CrewZ Through Life on Instagram. You know, what can I say about myself, bro? I'm a human being who's a reflection of all of you, who's just living out this life to the best of my ability, you know, expressing compassion, expressing love and cosmic intelligence to the best of my ability. Just so happens that I happen to be very musically inclined, and I chose to express my, you know, cosmic consciousness through hip-hop form. And so here we are. Just that one passion of music is what got me where I am today. You know what I mean? It all started with music, and eventually music transformed and evolved into this spiritual awakening process. And then that spiritual awakening got integrated into the music, of course. And then obviously through networking, communication, meeting a lot of amazing beings within the conscious community. I said, bro, you started just making new connections and you start growing a following, and then, bro, that's all it is, man. You meet beautiful, amazing souls like yourself. And we out here creating more content, bro, for the people. And inspiring others to just be their true, authentic self. I mean, that's just who I am. I'm just an aspect of you, nothing else.
Couldn't say it better, bro. Absolutely pure reflection right there. But yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about essentially like what we were talking about earlier before we were having so much conversation before we started recording this, yo. Like one of the things that we were talking about is like, yo, to really hold and anchor these higher frequencies of this new earth, this 5th dimension, 4th density energies that we are all transitioning into, the shift in the paradigm, to really like hold these frequencies on a regular basis, like, yo, it ain't easy. You know, it makes it so many people like, yeah, exactly. So many people make it seem like it's so rainbows and butterflies and stuff like that, but there is real, genuine, like, work and effort that goes into maintaining your frequency, and to have the drive and the willpower and the motivation and really inspiration to go forth with this work. It's essential to keep inspired. I always say inspired rather than motivate, because inspired is like an internal drive, like inspiration, and an external drive is more like motivation. You know, you say like, oh, I'm gonna do this and then I'll give myself that. Like something outside of you is normally what motivation is. So,
I love that.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely, I'm gonna just go ahead and pass the mic to you and ask you some things that like really inspire you specifically in the realm of, and it could be anything, bro, music, people, videos, movies, TVs, books, I don't care. Like anything that inspires you to really put in the work required to maintain your frequency and progress spiritually and physically and mentally. You know what I'm saying? To really put in the work to grow.
Yo, there's 3, and it's amazing because 3 is a high vibrational number, but there's 3 main things that I could say that are my biggest inspirations of my whys. Why I do what I do, right? Obviously, the first and foremost is my family. I created my own family. You know, I have a wife, I have 3 beautiful children, and I created that. You know what I mean? I created that with another being. So because those are my creations, that's my first priority and responsibility is, you know, why am I so inspired to change this world? It's so that my children can grow up in a world where there's no suffering and no bullshit, and everyone has their heart centers open. Everyone is just integrating compassion and cosmic intelligence, free energy technologies, natural resources. You know, that's the world that I want to leave behind for my kids and my grandkids. So first and foremost, what inspires me to be my best, authentic, ultimate self in human form is that my creations that I've created, 3 of them, for them to just grow up in a very safe, planet where everybody can just travel and just be so interdependent and innovative, creative. You know what I mean? So boom, that's number 1. Number 2, the second thing that truly inspires me, bro, is nature. Because, like we talked about earlier before this recording, growing up in New York, I didn't appreciate nature at all, until I moved to South Florida. And, I finished high school down here, and still I didn't appreciate, nature until I had my spiritual awakening at 18. And then, bro, little by little started seeing how beautiful the sunsets were here and how beautiful trees were, and just listening to birds and watching squirrels run. Back then you would think, that corny ass shit, bro, you get squirrels and birds. What are you talking about, you tree hugger? You know what I mean? Like, that's just how people think about it. And it's just like, yo, it's not like that at all, bro. You got to realize that you are nature. Nature is what we are. We are nature beings, you know what I mean? Living these cookie-cutted houses and fucking this ridiculous system with money and social high classes, and fuck with that bullshit, bro. It's like all designed to keep us enslaved and segregated, you know what I mean? But anyway, so nature, man, inspires me because, especially recently with this whole quarantine shit, I've had more time to just sit in my backyard and appreciate my backyard more, because I don't ever sit in my backyard. I'm just always doing stuff, especially before the quarantine. You know what I mean? I'm just always on the go and making moves. And being home more and being able to appreciate your backyard, to see like, yo, backyard's actually beautiful. Like, you see so much nature going on. Just observing nature, you get inspired to see like, yo, this is what we are supposed to be doing. We wonder why we get depressed in society and work in this 9-to-5 rat race. Is because we're not living free. Like classic cliche shit like being free as a bird. Well, if you really do observe a bird and just sit in nature and just observe, or close your eyes and just listen, and you observe a bird's freedom, like, yo, that bird can literally fly from one tree to the next tree, take a dump real quick if it wants to, and then pick some food off the grass and go as high as hell and spin in a circle. Like, yo, it is extremely free. And human beings yearn for that freedom to be like, yo, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it, with no limitations. You feel me? With nothing holding me back. So like nature brings me so much inspiration, because, when you sit in nature, when a human being sits in nature, they literally do align their energies much quicker and much more effectively, because nature is your natural habitat, it's your natural state. So when you sit in nature as a human being, sitting there, relaxed, breathing through their diaphragm, you're just becoming integrated, one with your external reality. So nature, I've gotten so many cosmic downloads just sitting in my backyard. So many dope ass innovative ideas that as soon as I've got the money for them, I'm telling you right now, I got so many things I'm gonna be manifesting, bro. Like, I have so many innovative ideas that I'm gonna create once I have the finances, and I'm gonna just do that shit, fund it myself. You know what I mean? And make power.
It and really sitting with it right now is just planting the seeds, and then you having the money is just going along that path. You having the energy of you describing it right now, these visions that you have, that's a solid seed planted, bro. I could see it right now, so I'm excited to see that.
Thanks, bro. Facts. And it's an amazing thing, to just be able to embody that and finally see that, yo, my path is becoming clearer. I've been doing a lot of spirit work during this last month and a half, almost 2 months that we've been in quarantine already, and it made me realize how much more work I still needed. You know what I'm saying? Because, bro, like, we all need healing on so many levels. Like, it doesn't matter how conscious you think you fucking are, bro. Your ass still needs to heal from a lot of corruption and dysfunction you've been through as a child, teenager, or whatever. Like, we got a lot of shit, a lot of negative blockages.
Straight up, man.
Blockage, energetic blockages, I meant to say, in our minds and in our auric field. We got to cleanse this shit. Watch what we eat. Do the spirit work, do the physical work, exercise, do some yoga for your body, keep yourself flexible and youthful. Like, yo, you gotta put in the work. And that's the problem. America is designed to make human beings lazy. And we want everything just done for us, and we don't want to really put in the work for our bodies. We'll put in the work for our job and money, but we don't put in the work for our bodies. And these avatars are what our consciousnesses are inhabiting just for the sake of experiencing physical reality. So many people are afraid of dying, and they want to live longer, but they don't realize that they're all just living just so they don't die. You know what I mean? They're not living to live and be who they truly are and just make an impression and leave an imprint on this planet before they leave it and truly become their ultimate human form, you know what I mean, before they die. So once you awaken, you have that shift in consciousness, and that's what you try to attain. Yo, nature will really help you get to this level of awareness, and it's helped me. So boom, that's number 2, bro, nature. And then my third and final inspiration is the very manifestation and the very thought of the fact that humanity has right now the capability of living a completely free, sustained life, free energy technologies, instant manifestation. We all have telepathy once we tune back into it. You know, natural resources, no more money, the elite removed. Like that reality, fourth density, just the thought of that manifestation being a reality, that shit drives me every single day to see that before I die. I want to fucking see that shit before I leave this planet, you know? And that's another thing, bro. Once you empower yourself through this, you no longer fear death. Bro, once you have your first astral projection, you no longer fear death, because now you're in the spirit realm, for real. You're in the spirit, you're in the astral template of reality. So you see this shit. So
you're literally where you go when you die. So you've died. It's this.
Now the problem is, if you die without the awareness that if you didn't attain the awareness of what spirit is and your connection to spirit and nature before you died, once you go to this astral template of reality, you don't realize that you are instantly manifesting what your core beliefs were in that life you just left. So people are creating their own heavens and creating their own hells.
So many people, exactly like you're saying, they'll die like unconsciously. That's why so many people, like I know so much respect, rest in peace to the body and soul of Ram Dass, yo. He spent so much time educating people on how to consciously transition out of their bodies, you know what I'm saying? Before he consciously did so out of his recently. And that's because when you leave your body and you're not aware, like you said, of the whole process that's happening, people get so attached onto these forms and they don't accept that they have transitioned, and they cling on to this realm. So they're in their astral bodies, but they're still in the vibration of the physical plane, trying to like interact with the energies of this plane, but they don't have physical bodies to be here. So they're not truly, you know, acknowledging the transition.
Ghosts and lost souls are people who keep reliving experiences like once they pass.
Exactly.
The fact that they died. So a lot of souls and beings can't accept the fact that they crossed over. And it's like, you wonder why there's so many haunted places on this planet, especially in this country. There's a lot of haunted houses in America, bro. Mad haunted houses. And growing up in Long Island, bro, so many haunted houses, bro. Just Amityville alone, or Sleepy Hollow Road. You know what I mean? Like, yo, there's a lot of haunted shit out there. So if you don't understand spirit, you fear the unknown. But once you have your first astral projection, you know, in the first one ever, you're gonna be kind of like, you know, what is this? Because you don't know, you're not used to operating within that realm. And so you can scare yourself out of it very quickly and fall right back into your body. You know what I mean? When I did my first one, I was literally in this realm for no longer than like 15 seconds. Because when I looked down and saw the top of my hair, I spooked myself out of it and fell right into my body, took a big ass gasp of air. And that was my first astral projection ever. I was 19. So it was amazing seeing what was in my room. You know what I mean? You literally see an exact replica of your room, but everything looks a little bit different, like more hazy. I started seeing a lot of smoky energy in my room surrounding the ceiling. What I didn't understand then that I understand now is that smoky energy you see around the ceiling is literally your thoughts before they're forming and taking form and crystallining to be manifested in physical form. So your thoughts in this realm are literally this smoky type of energy just circulating around you that you cannot see with your physical eyes. But as soon as you start giving it more attention and more focus, it begins to crystalline more. That smoky energy crystallizes. If you start generating enough emotion behind this thought and enough intensity, and you start taking action, then you crystalline and you bring it down to the physical. It solidifies. So when you realize this, and you know, bro, just having an astral projection made me realize that. Years later, I look back at the smoke energy, like, what is it? Boom, 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 and I came across a lot of information. I'm like, holy crap, this all makes sense now. And since then, I have 7 more astral projections. So I've had a total of 8 in this incarnation thus far. So for me, I'm like, man, I've already experienced spirit firsthand so many times and many other things besides spirit, bro, just contact and many other experiences that I'm like, you have to compose yourself. You have to reach a level of spiritual maturity to be able to handle this and still reintegrate yourself into society and go back to your 9 to 5 and be a normal person. You feel me? And act like you don't, you got to lower your frequency all the time once you go in public. You feel me? Like, it's just crazy. I'm forced to do it every day, every time I go out, but I'm always helping people out to the best that I can. And when I come in contact with physical,
I always call it putting on your energy condom, bro. You gotta put up your energy condom, protect your aura walking outside. You know what I'm saying? It all comes into balance, bro. It all comes into basically exercising that balance. When you do have experiences that are so far beyond the conceptualization, belief systems, the average person's ability to even comprehend the reality of the things you have experienced when it comes to astral projection, contacts, cosmic downloads, coming into all these metaphysical phenomenon, experiencing it in this incarnation. All this stuff is normal when we leave this body and before it and stuff like that, but in this body, having these experiences, so outside of the norm in terms of the paradigm that we're transitioning out of. In the next, I estimate in about like 10 years tops, this is going to be normal. You know what I'm saying?
I estimate by the end of the decade. I think the 2020 decade is the decade of transition, where by the time we're in the 2030s, we're all going to know what's up. And it's like, yo, you're either choosing to align or you're not.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be people left behind. There is. It's very apparent, but it's like, and that
you're not. I mean, it's that simple. If you truly want to align to it, start putting in the work. Start being
it's a conscious decision.
Love yourself and just put in the work. Start learning, start researching, start asking questions, start embarking on that journey. Find the answers for yourself.
And you know what
first it happens externally. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, no, you good. I was just gonna say that what's very fascinating is exactly like you said, bro. It's a conscious decision. I don't think that people can people can try to move into fourth density and then get left behind because they didn't do I feel like it's really just a conscious decision. And going beyond that actually gives me a perspective of this whole situation with this quarantine, right? So that's what's happening with this quarantine is a lot more people are spending more time, obviously, in introspection, really taking a look at their life from the physical phenomenon, looking at their thoughts a lot more people who aren't doing busting all these moves, engaging in all these human endeavors and, engaging in these energetic activities for their avatar to be in all the time. When you're not investing your awareness onto that stuff and you are spending more time not engaging in activities, your awareness is still going to be moving around. So where's it going to go? It's going to go into your thoughts. So more people are going to be thinking a lot more, and then they're going to be spawning the catalyst of a lot of introspection and perspective that they wouldn't normally have entertained otherwise. So it's giving people the opportunity to be like, how is my diet? How is my relationship like with my friends and family? How is my decisions with my career? How is my finance? All these things, elements of, your life and stuff like that. People are starting to really look at these things. They're starting to see what feels in alignment, what feels not in alignment, what makes sense to my soul, what doesn't make sense. And whether they're having this, very heightened perspective of it, they're getting like inklings of like, okay, maybe I shouldn't eat a whole bunch of meat if it makes me feel like ass. Maybe I should start to transition into a diet that is more easily digestible and in harmony with the actual anatomy of my body. And, things like this, just kind of like making decisions. So that's kind of like, I see this situation as being a large catalyst for giving people the opportunity to see the crossroads, because we are at a crossroads. Like this is, bro, you said it, bro. This decade is the decade where all the transformation happens. And it's like, we're at the beginning of the end game type shit. Like this is where it's about to happen. So you go left or you go right. It's your decision. One is love and harmony and the other is the fucking opposite. You're going to go in one path that's in harmony with your spirit, or you're going to go in the other path. And it really
is. Or you can just go in between both paths.
What'd you say?
Right. You were right in that center, baby boy. You'd be chilling, reconnected with who you truly are again.
Yeah, bro, exactly, man. So yeah, to bring it back into inspiration on my side. First of all, you list some good things, man. I really like that shit. But you know, that touched on a lot of mine as well. Definitely
Hey,
nature's.
let me know what your inspirations are, man.
Yeah, I mean, like currently, definitely the biggest thing that in my current experiences, like one big thing that has been affecting my life very positively is for sure reading, man. Like, and this is the book I'm reading right now, autobiography. What'd you say?
No, so that's a really good one. Reading, absolutely.
Yes, bro. Because here's why I specifically say that. And I will say the book I'm reading by Yogananda right now, Autobiography of a Yogi. This one specifically has been allowing me to transmute so much. Bro, I picked this book up like last week. I'm halfway done with it. Like I can't stop reading this thing. It's all I've been doing is meditating and reading this book and doing all the content that I'm doing, man. And like. The reason why is because, you know, like we said at the very beginning of this stuff, serious fucking elbow grease goes into you traversing this path. And really, when you're feeling the density and like, you know, where I'm at right now, I'm living in the East Coast in New Jersey, United States, bro. A lot of density, like we were talking earlier, man. It's a lot of density, even beyond the environment, the people, the air, the pollution, the food, all of it, you know what I'm saying? So for you to like be exposed to all that stuff and still have the drive to meditate when every part of your being is like, your thoughts are so crazy that even when you do sit in meditation, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're even doing the breath work and all that stuff to really push through that and transmute that. This book has been really, really, really inspiring me because it's somebody who truly has put in the work themselves, and this book is an autobiography. It's literally his entire life of you seeing his integration and dedication and commitment to God realization, to doing whatever the fuck he gotta do to reach source, to reach Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it, to reach these heightened states of being to where really superhuman, absolutely superpowered stuff is possible. Like absolutely superpowered stuff. And to see that is an absolute inspiration. And obviously, you know, that's a pretty extreme example. He literally is able to do some superhuman stuff. But even if it's someone like, another thing I'll say is an inspiration of mine, man, is like, you could even say like certain movies and TV shows and like, I used to be so into comic books growing up, man. Nice. So into comic books. Those inspired the shit out of me. One of my favorite
for your generation, man. You were born 2000, you know. For someone like you to be into comic books, that's dope.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. Like most people weren't reading them around my age. It was starting to phase out around that time. You know, TV was a thing and stuff like that, which I also still watched. But like, I used to fuck with comic books so heavy, just because like, bro, like the whole idea of realizing the superhuman ability and just like living that life and just like the story of a person who just has superpowers, like who don't
I was obsessed with anime and Dragon Ball Z. That was my shit.
Yes, I was gonna mention that.
Levitate, create little balls of energy and just teleport and all of these things. I'm like, yo, Dragon Ball Z is probably the most amazing cartoon saga
ever,
storyline ever created ever. Like it's just insane.
Exactly.
From Dragon Ball to GT to the newest one, it's
bro, I've seen every single Dragon Ball show thing that did you see and towards the end of Dragon Ball Z, bro, they literally describe accurately how to levitate when he's Gohan is teaching his girl's name. What's his girl's name? I don't remember. Pan is the daughter.
Yeah.
Videl. Yeah. Gohan was teaching Videl when they were teenagers. She was a human. She didn't know how to fly. You know, Gohan and Goten, they're just flying around like it's nothing and shit like that. She's like, yo, I want to do that. He's like, you can.
I was that as a kid, bro. You have no idea. I've had dreams of flying my whole life. I know what it feels like to physically levitate because I've done it so much in my dreams, lucid dreaming. So it's like, it's the most amazing sensation ever. It's so freeing. It's beautiful.
It's funny
So
you say that.
Dragon Ball was just my shit, bro. I was obsessed with that as a kid. You know, anything that had to do with fighting. I was really into fighting stuff, fighting games, fighting martial arts, Bruce Lee. I was heavily into always trying to mimic it and all of that shit. Like watching all the Ip Man movies, learning about Wing Chun. I've always been into that. Just learning about martial arts. I love the whole culture about it and just the sport of it. And obviously Bruce Lee was a huge inspiration to me as a child. Like me and my cousins would watch all his movies. So it's just crazy, bro. When you're living in that media world, Hollywood, and you're so inspired by these icons, and you don't realize that they're just human beings with their own fucked up belief systems. And yeah, they make a lot of money. Yeah, they're a public figure, but they still don't got it figured out, and they're still going through their own bullshit, and they still have to awaken too in their own unique way. So when you start growing up and you become an adult, and you start realizing like, yo, all of these Hollywood stars that I used to look up to when I was a kid, they're just people like me, and they're actually very touchable. They're very easily to talk to. You know what I'm saying? Yep. It's not a big deal. And then it's like, I feel like I'm at the point in my spiritual development, P, that I can't get starstruck by any human being, because I know that I am every human being. I don't give a shit who you are. If I am in your presence, I feel like, yo, it'll be amazing. Yo, it's amazing. I'm in this being's presence. You know, it's awesome. I'll feel like, you know, excited energy. But like to be like, you know, how some human beings can fade and just get absolutely starstruck. It's like, bro, I know way too much to get starstruck by another aspect of myself just because you're rich and just because you've done so much in the media world. You know what I mean? You're still an equal to me in terms of what you're.
We're all just mirrors.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we're all just mirrors of each other. And at the end of the day, I know that this being is just another aspect of myself who has attained so much for himself, and I respect it, and I'm great, and I'm, you know, that's it, bro. That's all it is. But that's why it's helped me. Yo, I feel like all the spiritual awareness has really helped me open up to be this people person, because when I was younger, I was very shy. Thinking back to like the ages of like 5 and 10 in elementary school, I was a shy ass kid. I'm not someone that could just express myself. I would just be more internally bottling up feelings inside, shit like that. So I couldn't fathom ever being a rapper or performing on stage in front of massive people. It used to get me so nervous thinking about it. You know, as an Aries, as a sun sign being Aries for myself, I have a lot of nervousness and impulsive energy naturally, right? That's something I have to learn to tame within my meditations and my own development. So like, that's what I've been working on for so much. This nervousness energy, this impulsive, you know, quick-tempered energy to whatever. Like that's just always been my downfall, if you could say, like growing up. That would fuck me up and make me make stupid decisions or say the wrong shit at the wrong time. You know what I mean? So when you work on these things, bro, it really just transforms you as a human being. It's amazing. It really is, man.
Yeah, and I truly feel like any type of thing that's like a what people would say is a handicap or some type of like, a great example is like mental disorders, right? I feel like what those really are gifts in disguise if you transmute them. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, what you're saying about like the impulsive, like quick energy and stuff like that, like when you really master that, you could use that to your advantage, not like, you know what I'm saying? Exactly.
There's great energy to take action with, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's just a matter of balancing it and not being controlled by it and having control of it and basically being a master of your mind, yo. Like, you know, the book I'm reading right now, they talk all about that, yo, all these yogi powers and stuff. They say, yo, the mind is like the greatest gift to humanity to be able to do the most superhuman things, but most people are slaves to their mind. You know, they can't sit down and have control over their mind and, you know, tell it what to do. When you tell your mind, they say, what's that quote? They say the mind is an incredible slave but a terrible master. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. That's very true, bro. Very, very true. You know, the mind is just, wow. So goddamn deep and profound, and there's just so many layers you got to peel back when you speak about the mind. You know what I mean? Most human beings on this planet are not even fully human beings operating yet. You know, we're not even fully human yet. We don't even know what it is to be a full human being operating. And I feel like, why are we in the year 2020, P? Is because the last human being who attained that ultimate form in human form was Yeshua. He was the last being who attained that on this planet. And that is why time restarted after, you know, he left his planet. This planet is what, 13, 14 billion years old, but we're in the year 2020. What kind of bullshit is that, right? So it shows you, like, well, 2020, the reason why Jesus Christ, Yeshua, is so famous and so known and all of these things, and everybody's just, you know, whatever, so hung up on him, is because he's the last human being that attained this, was able to attain his true ultimate form, what it means to be really human. And he understood the ultimate truth, you know, that all is love and all is eternal and all is one. Well, obviously his original teachings were manipulated, so they created this illusion that you need to worship him, and that in order to get to heaven and be a good, you know, angel, or you're gonna be punished by God, who created you and loves you unconditionally. Well, he's gonna fucking punish you and send you to hell for eternity. I mean, bro, the contradictions and, like, just the logical thoughts of it is, bro, like, how does a mass of humans really fall for that shit? Like, how do they do it? That's crazy. But it makes sense how they did it, because we're not aware of our own manifestational powers, our own collective manifestational powers, and they are. So they know that they need to get us to believe in something in order for us to manifest it for itself.
When you're able to basically control how somebody views the afterlife and things that they can never have empirical proof of in this plane, if you can control how people view that, you can control their entire life. If you tell somebody you do all this suffering in this physical plane, and then when you die, you'll go to a nice, beautiful afterlife and everything will be set up good for you, and you get them to actually believe that, they're your puppets. And that's the whole story of humanity since, you know, the Anunnaki enslavement.
Exactly, since its inception with the Anunnakis, bro. That's just been like that. We've been designed to be slaves since the beginning. And that's what Enlil never wanted when he saw how intelligent we were becoming. And so the whole Tower of Babel incident, and then creating all these languages and segregating humans, and just really segregating humans. That's when all of that shit occurred. After the fall of the Tower of Babel is when they literally separated ourselves to different corners of the earth and created all these different languages so that we could never communicate with each other and not understand each other, not unite. Because if we unite in a split second, our mass consciousness can eliminate the elite. Like, it's nothing. Like, it's nothing. It's insane how simple it is, but it just takes decades to get a whole planet to realize.
There's just so much factors of distortion involved, and that's really all it is, bro. When you get to exactly like you're saying, the more close you get towards the truth is the more simplified it becomes. But because we've allowed so much distortion to happen, all these factors have brought us into such a complex, abstract state of being, where people are so in this world of form and abstractions and stuff like that. The more that people start to come back into unifying concepts, unifying belief systems, and stop branching out into more and more differences and thoughts and all these different avenues for consciousness to, like, basically bring itself further and further from the origination or source, you know, when you start to alleviate all of that branching out, the natural process is for consciousness to come back and weave itself back into itself. And that's what we're witnessing. And exactly like you said, it takes beyond decades, you know what I'm saying? It takes a very long time. But the beauty of what we're witnessing is the power of exponential acceleration. So it's not like it's not linear. You know what I'm saying?
You see time accelerating at an increased rapid rate. It's just insane. You know what I mean? Time is accelerating so crazy that even children are realizing, like, holy shit, what day is it? Like, my kids are like, yo, it's Wednesday? I'm like, what? Me too. I be just so lost, bro, that I'm just like, man, I don't keep up with the time and the days. Like, the days, obviously you look at the time on the clock with numbers, but, like, I be forgetting what day it is. I'm just so in this eternal moment that you're like, bro, you're not worried about time. You know that time is not linear regardless.
Facts, bro.
Density is extremely malleable regardless. So you got to live that truth now. You know, live that non-linear truth now, so you can experience that shit, because the energy is already here. We already have access to it. It's just a matter of anchoring it, embodying it, and living it, applying it. You know, how many of us make that fucking that mistake in the beginning of our conscious journey is where we awaken and we attain so much knowledge and we're expressing it, but we're not living, we're not applying. So we know it, but we're still having fucked up life. We still have a lot of issues that manifest. Like, why am I still going through so much? I'm this conscious being. I know so much. Why do I keep struggling? Why am I still broke? Why am I whatever? You know what I mean? And it's because you're not applying what you know to your lifestyle. And it took me such a long time to realize that. Like, my whole 20s, I had to go through so much ups and downs and challenges to finally realize by the time I hit 30 that you have to apply what you know on a whole nother level. Like, you gotta just 1,000%. You gotta have this intensity. You gotta write it down on paper, put it in physical manifestation if you have to. Like, you gotta really put in work. So it's just a matter of breaking that cycle of that laziness and procrastination that we all got collectively. Once we can do that shit successfully, bro, and we actually act on what we want to do and we learn a new skill and whatever, we apply it, you start living that spiritual life for real, you change your diet for real, bro, your whole life becomes more elevated and everything falls into place. Synchronicities manifest all the time. And you know, bro, because you're doing it. So you're seeing all the synchronicity, numerologically speaking, all the time. You know, I see it all the time. You know what I mean? And I love it.
Yeah, bro, I absolutely fucking loved how you brought all this stuff up, man. That ties it so well into everything, man. First of all, that's basically the distinction between wisdom and the wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyone can have wisdom, bro. Anyone could pick up a book or hear a podcast or even get a download and get wisdom. But to be wise is to apply the wisdom and become it. There's the wisdom, and then there's the wise to be able to
gaining the experience. Wisdom. The experience is what makes you wise.
Exactly. Becoming the experience.
Wisdom. But the experience of applying that knowledge is what makes you wise, because you firsthand did it. You know, you experienced it. That's what makes you wise. But
for real, and that's exactly what, and also what you said about basically, like, you know, having the drive, bro. Having the drive, that goes into literally, like, that ties us back into what we started talking about at the beginning, and that is essentially like having the drive and the willpower to go through with anchoring the wisdom and applying the teachings, practicing what you preach. You know, anyone could have this information, but to go forth with it, it takes a next level of dedication and true internal desire to go through with it. And that's why things like, you know, things like the nature, things like family and friends inspire us, things like just understanding the possibilities of things like books, things like TV shows, movies, comics even, you know what I'm saying? Literally anything that can drive you forward towards having that flame within you of desire and willpower burning and stuff like that. And that's also what you said about coming together in unity, bro, how it's so fucking easy when we actually come together in unity. Right. And that's when the exponents start to happen, because everyone goes through the ebbs and flows. Who cares? I don't give a shit how enlightened you think you are. Everyone goes through fucking ebbs and flows. And when one person's at a lower part, another person's at a higher part. And then that person is able to consolidate their frequencies to give some energy. It's basically when your cup overfloweth, you give some. And when your cup is empty, you receive some. And when we're all in unity and when we are actually in communication with one another and aware of this energy exchange and focused on our development as individuals and come together individually focusing on our development collectively, and that's really what it is also, is individually working on ourselves collectively. You know, a lot of people, like a great relationship, I mean, a great example is relationships, right? Like an ideal relationship is two individuals who are like, each one is working on themselves and then they come together to make a greater whole. But most people, and this goes with like intimate relationships, but this also, I'm talking about like families, I'm talking about friends, I'm talking about every single connection between human beings. A lot of people try to like make two halves a whole rather than make themselves whole and then create something even larger than the sum of the wholes, like a fusion, you know what I'm saying? So when we start to really acknowledge these facts and put this energy and basically apply this wisdom to ourselves and change ourselves, that puts us in a position to be able to help others. And then when we're in unity, yeah, the resources are ample. You know, when someone's low, the other person's high. So yeah, inspiration is essentially the key to all of it.
Facts, bro. We all bring each other up. And the space, the mental space that we create, like the energy we create when we're all together, when we all have these different levels of awarenesses, we understand the same thing, and we're all in the same physical space, like in community healing, like in a concert, all of us from different parts of this country, we were all in that one building that one night. We all got to chill, record videos, perform, and, you know, just kick it, you know what I mean, for one night. But the energy in that room, because so many conscious beings who really know their shit who have been putting into work. You can see people put into work there at the events. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you see the community coming together for real.
That was like such a huge seed, bro. Like that, I'm still seeing manifestations, not even just within myself, but other people who are involved in community healing. I'm seeing them branching out and making connections that would not have been possible, or would not have been possible that early. You know what I'm saying? It would have taken a lot longer for it to happen. It was a catalyst for so much manifestation. Another big thing like that is what was it, April 4th, the recent global meditation.
Right.
Huge.
Yeah, we did that here, yo. My family and I, we did that together. That was beautiful.
Yeah, bro. Did you see the Schumann resonance on that, man?
Yeah, I posted about that,
bro.
So yeah, it was beautiful. That's amazing, man. It shows you the power that we have when we come together with the same intention and we do the same thing together simultaneously. It's an amazing thing.
Absolutely, brother. So with that, I think I'm gonna start to, you know, we getting a little bit over the time now, so we gonna start closing out. But basically, yeah, bro, just basically understanding unification and the power of it, and not just these concepts, but applying it. And that's why a big thing that I'm really starting to not only do myself, but also implore others to do as well, is to start to think of ways and act on ways that can bring unity within the collective. And it doesn't matter the scale, you know what I'm saying? You could have 2 people together. You could do mastermind meetings. Like at the beginning of 2019, one thing that I started doing that changed my life was me and my brother Sadi, we started doing these mastermind meetings, you know, That's
awesome, man. I respect you guys for what you're doing. You're creating something dope for conscious people in New Jersey to come together and feel accepted, feel at home, feel comfortable, you know, in the space where there's other people in their area who are actually on that same frequency, bro.
Exactly.
So I have nothing but love and respect to what you're doing, and I support you 100,000%, bro. So just keep doing it. You're making
gratitude, man. Thank you so much. And you already know
this is why I'm so focused. Before we end this is why I'm so focused on attaining financial freedom in this system, because once you have the finances to literally empower and fund your own passion projects, I want to create things where, bro, we can come together and perform anywhere. Like, we can just make it happen. It's not even about the money. It's like, once you have so much money that you just don't even know what to do with, you can just pay for everything and make sure everyone gets paid for performing. And we all fly out to this one location. We can just keep doing it together, like create events, create things in different cities that we can come together and fund it ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. That if all of us conscious artists, music artists, and painting artists, and whatever, all types of artists, if we all came together and we all funded our own events, bro, in different cities, so we have to be willing to put in that work. And that's why I feel like if you attain such riches and you got the money to do it, and it doesn't affect your personal bills, why not pay for it? If you can pay for it, bring everyone together, bro. Be about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, you know, someone who has $100 million. If I have $100 million, you can just take 3 million, and with those 3 million, you can literally fund and pay for every concert, every flight, every artist gets paid for every show, and you just fund it all yourself just because out of the kindness of your heart. That's what it means to step into your fucking power, bro. So many people are too scared to just do that.
Straight up. And even beyond that, bro, even beyond that, if people do have, like, if people have the money, that's one thing, and you know what I'm saying. But even if you don't physically have the money right now, I go so far as to, and I'm even speaking from straight up experience, bro, and as well as others is around me. Like, if you have the true, pure-hearted determination and intention behind a vision similar to what you're describing about just basically flying out, making these things happen in terms of bringing people together through music, through our meditation, all that type of stuff, the workshops, like, yo, the universe aligns things in your favor. But the only thing that prevents that is not having an unwavering belief in the process. So like, it goes back to what you were saying before about the experience being the catalyst for embodiment of wisdom. So like, when you live that life of trust, of heart leaping in the direction of faith, because you're like, I know what I'm here to do. I know what my spirit is driving me towards doing. I also know the limitations that I'm witnessing in my physical environment preventing me from seeming to do that. And you having that unwavering faith in source consciousness's ability to manifest things and orchestrate reality in favor of your highest path, when you actually show the universe that you're not just talking the talk, you're ready to fucking grab your balls and walk that walk, it's effortless, bro. It's fucking effortless. But you gotta have actual cojones, bro. You gotta actually want that. So
thanks, man. You couldn't have said it better myself. Well said, my brother. Straight up, like you really hit the nail on the golf with that one. You're absolutely right. That's what it is. And the faster we grasp this shit on a collective scale, the faster we change our lives. And it's already changing forever. This coronavirus shit has changed the planet forever. Yep. And there's a lot of intelligent people who had no choice of being home all day. A lot of intelligent people who weren't doing it before are now putting in the work and researching. All this shit they were calling conspiracy theories in the past, all starting to make sense now, and they're putting in the work. People that I could see, that I've known for years, bro, who are now sending me shit. Yo, I can't believe what I just found, bro. You've been telling me this for like 10 years. I can't believe this. Yo, you've been talking about Anunnakis for 10 years, like one of my cousins in New York. Yo, you've been talking about Anunnakis for 10 years. And I just heard Jay-Z say it in one of his songs. That's fucking crazy, bro. And I'm just like, I told you, bro. This is like, this is real. This is really happening. Everyone is tapping in. You got so many mainstream music artists saying the word Anunnaki in their music. I'm talking about from reggaeton, Spanish people, like Ozuna even has an album named Nibiru. That's his album. And he's a really famous reggaeton artist. You know what I mean? So it's like people are tapping in and dropping these little gems of truth because they know what's up and they know what's about to be exposed and come out to the planet, and there's no stopping it. You know what I mean? There's no stopping it. That's the beauty about all this shit. There's no stopping it. They can try to do whatever they want to whoever they want, kill whoever they want, silence whoever they want, put out all these pandemics that they want and mass fear that they want. There's nothing stopping it, bro.
Literally all of the astrological forces and celestial bodies and so much things that are beyond what happens on the surface of this sphere, bro, are happening in a way that this shift is happening. This shift isn't a product of human consciousness or the events of humanity. This is something that the planet, and not even the planet, our entire solar system, this is just a natural process, this equinox cycle, this shift in paradigm.
Right.
Exactly. What we're witnessing, we're a byproduct of it. We're not the catalyst of it. So exactly like you're saying, bro, there's nothing that can be done to prevent the change that is happening for our entire planet, because it ain't about humanity. It's about the fucking planet, and humanity is just living on the planet. You know what I'm saying?
This planet, man. The planet itself is a conscious being. It is aware. It has a soul. Humanity, the collective consciousness of humanity, represents the soul of the earth. The collective consciousness of how humanity believes and thinks represents the planetary perspective of the earth. Her as a being. All of our thoughts collectively represents how she thinks and communicates to other planets. You see what I mean? It's all scale of reality. We are all the cells of something larger. It's all fractals, infinitely large and infinitely small. We are all there's trillions of cells, and each cell is conscious of itself and experiencing a relationship with another cell within your body. And then you got 7.5 billion cells of the earth, and then you got the blood streams, which are in the veins, which are the rivers and the valleys, the ocean. You got the continents, the organs, you got the land masses, you have everything, bro. Like, the planet is a being. And as you know, all the stars, hundreds of billions of stars in the one Milky Way galaxy, those are the cells of the galaxy. All the star systems can communicate to each other. And you got billions and billions of galaxies. Each galaxy is a whole sentient being. And all these star systems and planets are like the cells of it. To think that a galaxy has its own mindset and can communicate to another galaxy, like from being to being. It's just insane how infinite creation goes, bro. It's insane. To think that we are alone on this planet, like, wow. Like, how can you still be on that energy at this point in 2020? Well, what are facts and all the ancient sites and all the ancient civilization facts? Like, people are like, where are the facts at? Where's the proof? Go study ancient civilization and you'll see the proof. It's fucking everywhere. What do you mean? Just go to Egypt alone. Go see
the most powerful tool for ascension. Like, that's why the Roswell crash happened, was to give us technology of the internet to be able to accelerate the flow of information, to allow us to be in a mindset to understand this ascension. You know, we have the information accessible in our fucking pockets through our cell phones.
Exactly. Supercomputers right in our pockets, bro.
Straight up, man. But yo,
look at that though. A phone is a representation of a supercomputer, meaning it represents what the human being can do. So we look externally for Google to answer our questions, not realizing that the human being is this. It represents the internal form of the phone. So what the phone has the capability of doing, we already can do it without the phone. The Akashic records is it's our Google. You know what I'm saying? So
Google is just the stepping stone.
Exactly. It's just the external version of the Akashic records. It's like a Google search engine or whatnot.
It's the equivalent of essentially with Atlantis and stuff like that, them building the artificial Merkabahs through all the structures with the pyramids and all these things, you know, that's basically them focused. That was beneficial, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of actually fulfilling the ascension, supposedly why they weren't able to perform the ascension was because they were going so outside and focusing more on the technological building Merkabahs and all this outside forms of it, that they weren't integrating the Merkabah within, you know what I'm saying? So that's really, you know, it's definitely to go from complete ignorance. You know, the stepping stone is the technology and all of these things that are beautiful, man, but they are outside of us. And then those can be the gateway, the stepping stones towards realizing the state within. And that's the transition that we're realizing, is the gaining the spiritual maturity to match the technological advancement that we currently have. Because you know as well as anyone else, bro, the extent of technological advancement in this fucking world is so, like, I don't even want to say generations, like countless generations beyond what is in public commercial accessibility. You know what I'm saying? People think holograms is bro, I'm talking interstellar travel, like free energy, like teleportation, you know, everything in the sci-fi movies, everything in Men in Black is a documentary, you know, all these things, like fucking.
Can you imagine being able, P, before I let you go, can you imagine having that conscious experience that you can slip through time at will? You know, because right now, even though we know time is an illusion and it's not linear outside of this realm, we still are bounded by this realm, by the laws of this universe and the realm that we're in, you know, this transition from third density to fourth density. Therefore, we're still experiencing, to a certain degree, linear time, yesterday, tomorrow, whatever, right? And it's like, imagine what that sensation, what that experience must be like once we're fully integrated in fourth density consciousness as a fully operating being in this realm. And time is just malleable. You can literally go to the past and the future and the present at will. Like, what is that? Like, that's insane. Because I've done these things through meditations and astral projections on a conscious level. But to do it with your physical embodied conscious state, like how I am right now, not going within and doing it. like doing it here externally, really doing that, going to parallel realities in the past and the future while incarnating conscious in this body, while my avatar is moving, being able to do that. Like, yo, can't even fathom what that's like. You know what I'm saying? That must be so amazing.
It's like a two-dimensional being trying to understand the concept of width. You know what I'm saying? It's so outside of the experience that it has no frame of reference to understand that. But I would imagine that when you do operate in that state of being, traversing time in that manner would be equivalent to the way that we move through space. The way that we just get in our car and move to go to point A to point B in space, and we're still in our avatar and stuff like that. It would essentially, I would imagine, be similar to that. It's just another element of reality that you can just maneuver through at conscious will, and to be able to
yo, just open a portal and walk through that bitch. Just to be able to do that like it's nothing, that's real, bro. That's true shit.
That's as real as it gets.
There ain't no, yo, I gotta fly out, count this ticket. Ain't no, yo, son, we got a show, I'm there. Yo, what's good, Pete? Yo, that's life, bro. That's what life is gonna be. So that, like you said, this whole thing is about inspiration. That's what inspires me, bro. That lifestyle, living that, because we are all capable of that. We're all beautiful beings, powerful beings, regardless of what we look like. We're all beautiful, powerful beings, and this is what awaits us after this whole coronavirus shit, after all this exposure of the elite and fucking these sex rings and all of these emails and these WikiLeaks and all of this QAnon shit. Like, all of this is all culminating towards something. And that's what that something is. That's what awaits us, the world that we're just talking about. So let's do it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, anybody watching this or watching this or hearing this or whatever, yo, embody that. Take action. Apply what you know. It's time, bro. 2020 is the year of clear vision, and we're stepping into that bitch. Now we see, but now we've attained a clear vision. Now we see how controlled we are. Because of this quarantine, we're seeing the control. People are waking up. So it's over, bro. It's over for all of them. We will never go back to how life was before this. But it scares many, but you should be fucking excited, because I'm excited as hell about this transition, because I know what's coming. That's why I'm excited. It is gonna get uglier. Unfortunately, it is going to get uglier, because to really face the truth of what's happening and everything that's been held from humanity, all of the millennia that we have been enslaved, human trafficking, all of this shit, bro, that's about to be exposed on a mass scale. It's not going to be easy to digest. A lot of religious structures are going to collapse. A lot of things are going to happen.
It wasn't good going in. It ain't going to feel good going out.
But it's got to come out. It's going to be beautiful, bro. Once we out, it's like a sit. We are stepping into our true God form, our God-given abilities that we are. We are all God. We are all God. We are all one. So step into that power. I love you. I love all of you listening and watching right now. I appreciate this platform and being able to share with you. Very beautiful being, Pleiades. Really appreciate you, my brother. And yo, let's just keep collabing, keep creating, and let's keep doing shit for the people. So that's why we do this, bro. For ourselves, our families, and the people, so we can get to that next level of life. Cosmic status. Know what I mean?
True soul reflections, bro. True soul reflections, bro. I'm so grateful beyond any effable words to be able to articulate for our connection, bro, for collaborating with you and just being able to, like you said, create these things for humanity to realize everything you just said, bro. So let's do it, bro. Let's do it. Man, here. Now's the time for action, man.
Facts, man. Let's do it. Appreciate you.
So with that, everyone bless out. Have an incredible time. And I'm going to see you again on this Akashic podcast, number 7 in 2 weeks. Love y'all so much. Have a blessed one.
Peace.